Hello and welcome to Clare School of Photography in memory of John Bigglestone. I've been really looking forward to sharing this shoot with you because it was unbelievable. Just wait till you see some of these captures. So we started off, Lynda and I, we went to the Westonbirt Arboretum, and as you can see it was full autumn colour. It takes a little while, I feel, to find the flow with the camera, a bit like anything really. I always think with like biking or anything like that, that you need a little bit of time to fall into the flow and kind of be at one with your camera, like you are with a bike or whatever you're doing, that you just need to find that flow. Do you see what I mean? So anyway, I always find the first few shots are sort of, we're just finding our feet, and I'm kind of playing with the colour and I'm playing with the composition. And so like as you see here, I was trying to step back a little bit and tell a little bit of the story. And I just want to talk a little bit about the day and the photography. So as you can see here, I moved round to the right to bring that tree on the left a little bit further away from the tree that Lynda is sat against, and made this shot really nice and panoramic, which I think works really well. And it was actually here that the kind of magic started, if you like, because we stopped at these trees and Lynda noticed that they were the exact trees that she had the essential oils for in her bag that she wanted to focus on. And we just kind of were drawn to these trees, and we stopped there, and then she made this realization. So we were already then like really relaxed, feeling into this synchronistic feeling that we were exactly where we needed to be, which is always a lovely comforting feeling. So we kind of put all our bags down and started to just really play with the light here. And we were so lucky this day with the weather, because the weather looked really dodgy, but it seemed to just come out. The light just seemed to pop out exactly when we needed it, just the right amount, not too much. It kind of gave us the opportunity to chase the light through the trees, which was really good fun. And we got quite a lot of shady shots as well, but it just seemed to flow perfectly. Like we ended up stopping at a point in time in the cafe when it poured down with rain, and then the minute we stepped out the cafe it stopped raining. It was brilliant, and we had a real laugh as well. So these few shots, I like to always edit them with a few different styles just to give my clients a little bit of variety, which is good fun. Um, and this tree was a particularly nice spot to stop because there was plenty of space for me to get around and kind of tuck in underneath the other trees and create that beautiful shallow depth of field in the foreground. So I was also trying to remember on this shoot to experiment with kind of a little bit of mystery in some of the shots, but also really taking a step back to kind of tell the story. I felt like I was in storytelling mode. And I love that when you step back, you can create this scene that gives a little bit more to the viewer so that they can come up with their own story. I always find that everybody that looks at a photo will come up with their own different story, Right, we're starting to come up to some of the real magic in a minute, and please don't go away, because right at the end of this shoot, it was just incredible what happened. And it just, I think every time I work with Lynda, it's like our energies together just takes us to somewhere very magical. It's like the rest of the world disappears, and that's what happened here. So you might remember Lynda from when I was in St Nectan's Glen. I was photographing the spiritual retreats, and I don't know if you remember a photo, I'm going to share it in just a moment, of Lynda in the waterfall, and behind Lynda there was a rock, and it wasn't until I was editing the photography after the photo shoot, quite some time after, that I noticed that this rock behind Lynda just was, there was a highlight on the rock that looked just like an angel wing coming up straight out of Lynda's kind of shoulder. And it literally gave me like full body shivers when I saw this. Anyway, the same happened with this shoot in the Arboretum, and it wasn't until I got home and I was editing the photos that I noticed a very similar thing on the same side of Lynda as well. In fact, here, look, where the sun rays come down, and it just looks like it's just perfectly coming off of her shoulder there, and that flare just looks like an angel wing. Absolutely blown away. And this point here where we were shooting Lynda with her bowl holding it up to the light, this was one of my favourite shots, this one. It was just magic. I absolutely love shooting into the sun, straight into the sun. So this was great fun. And it was just really lovely as well to have enough time, so we left a lot of time for this shoot, that we could really just enjoy the place together as well and just wander around chatting and just connecting. And I think that's when you get the best shots, because you're relaxed and you're not stressed or in a hurry. Love getting Lynda underneath this tree. There was a gentleman taking a photo of his partner under the tree, and to be honest, I really nicked his shot because he was photographing his partner just exactly where I've put Lynda, and it just looked beautiful from the side, so I gave it a go. So this was the point when Lynda said, oh, should we do some more shots? Like, we went for lunch, and then after lunch she wanted some shots done with her lotus flower. And I kept having this feeling to suggest that we just stop somewhere on the way home. And she said, yeah, okay, let's do that. So I said, I've got a vision of just somewhere really mucky, dirty, like maybe some corrugated metal and you with your lotus flower. And she said, well, that's funny, because the thing about the lotus flower is that it grows in kind of like in the grunge and the places that you wouldn't expect to see a beautiful flower. It grows in amongst all the mess. So we went past this old barn and we reversed and went back in, and I found this little hole. The light wasn't really brilliant for anywhere in the barn. It was all a bit flat, but I just found this hole in the metal, and I thought it was quite a nice message, because what Lynda does is regression therapy. So it's kind of, it just started conjuring up a bit of a story for me, like looking through a keyhole, almost like you're looking forward or you're looking back. And the light coming through from behind as well just seemed to give some sort of, it's like layers, you know, that looking through, getting a peek of what is to come from where you've been or something, you know. This kind of creative, these creative words started to rise in me, and then what happened next was unbelievable. So we went past this bus shelter. We came away from the barn and we kept driving, went past the bus shelter, and I sort of gasped because I saw this beautiful light on the back of the bus shelter, but I didn't want to ask Lynda to reverse again. And she said, what? I said, well, that bus shelter. She said, yes, fine, let's go. So she turned around and we went back to this bus shelter, and just wow. On the back of the wall of the bus shelter were all these pictures. There was it's like graffiti. So there was a star and there was some helicopters, looked very war-y. We were just coming up to 11/11 as well, the 11th of November. This shoot was probably about a week before then. So it just seemed just on point. And I had a lot of fun, as you can see, editing these pictures. But what started to come up as I was shooting, Lynda stood, and I was just looking at the shadow, and this story I felt was coming up. And the story was about the shadow. Lynda's shadow on the wall behind. I kept getting a feeling of like the shadow is your best friend. And if you've ever heard of doing shadow work with a therapist, I believe it can be really, really powerful. I haven't really done very much shadow work myself, but it's something I've heard about and that, you know, I think is really good to explore. Anyway, I just love the way that in the shadow on the wall, like you can't see the candle flame, but obviously you can see the candle flame in the candle that Lynda is holding, but it's all you can see on the shadow is like a wisp. It looks like it looks like the flame's gone out, you see. So it's like the past, isn't it? The shadow is the past, and oh my goodness. So anyway, I just have to read you what I wrote, because this photo shoot at the end here just inspired me so much to write, and I felt like it really came with a message. So here we go. Journeying backwards, third eye open to see, a time in your past you need to set yourself free. Meeting your shadow, she's your best friend, showing the parts you need to mend. Regression therapy takes you there, empower and grow another level of care. Peeling back layers day and night, Lynda will help you step into your light.